I just got this pants from Stradivarius and I really love them. I know it's fast fashion, but anyways, welcome back to today's video. Today I'm so excited because fashion history and talking about where fashion was at a certain period of time is kind of my favorite thing to do, I'm not gonna lie. In honor of it almost being in 2025, I wanted to talk about fashion trends during this period of time. I've been feeling a little nostalgic about the early 20s kind of coming to an end for good.
This is #1 champion sound. Yeah, Estelle, we about to get down. Who the hottest in the world right now? Just
so this video might be a little longer than usual. You can skip right over if you want to watch fashion trends on a specific year. So we're gonna start with 2020. 2020 was when TikTok started to take off. Obviously everyone was kind of bored, no one had a lot of things to do, so all of this was the perfect recipe for fast fashion to take off. I think we can all remember the never-ending Shein hauls that will appear in almost everyone's For You page. When discussing 2020, we also have to talk about Emma Chamberlain's impact, because that definitely had a lot to do with the fashion trends during this year. At the time, Emma was mixing a lot of patterns and wearing a lot of colors, and that obviously transitioned to what we know as 2020 fashion. I remember a lot of people saying this type of fashion was called Y2K, but looking back, this wasn't really Y2K, this was the Shein version of Y2K. And I'm not saying Shein was the only brand making clothes like this, but this was not Y2K at all. I think we can say that 2020 was its own kind of fashion. Patterns seem to be such a big thing this year because COVID was going on. I think people were looking for a way to feel happier. If you go back to 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood premiere, I do think that played a big part on fashion trends during 2020 as well. A big example of these boogie patterns is the House of Sunny dress. I remember this picture of Kendall Jenner being so iconic during that year. Everyone and their mother had this dress. It was so overdone. I can't see it as anything other than 2020, and I think the same thing happened to all these people because I haven't seen this dress since that year. And the problem with fast fashion is because it was so easily replicated by brands like Shein, it was so easy to access this kind of pieces. Was it the same quality? No, it was not the same quality, but everyone was able to get the exact same pieces that celebrities, or I guess influencers, were wearing during that time. That made people get sick of certain patterns so fast, which is the reason why by 2021 trends started to change a little bit, when in reality in the past it would have lasted for a little longer. Something else that started trending during 2020 were sweater vests. I think this is one of the best trends to come out of 2020. I added sweater vests to my basic wardrobe. It's not a trend for me anymore, I just love them so much. If you remember 2020, this sweater was everywhere. I remember every single influencer that I followed at the time was wearing this sweater. I think it was cute, but it got the same treatment as the House of Sunny dress because it was so easily replicated. It died down fast. I usually avoid those types of pieces. Whenever something is trending a lot, I do not buy that. I've lived long enough to know how trends play out, so I know what to avoid. The next thing that changed during the 2020s were baggy jeans. We came from a decade of really skinny jeans, and this completely changed what I guess people from my generation knew as fashion. Tie-dye. This was peak pandemic hysteria. Kind of seemed like everyone was playing with tie-dye. I remember seeing every single person wearing something tie-dye during this year, and I think it was kind of fun. It definitely took me back to the 90s, the early 2000s. Something else that was so popular, and I've talked about this in my channel before, it was cow print. I remember seeing people painting their room in cow print. I think it has to do with the fact that we just had so much time in our hands. Because of that, cow print was so overdone as well. It kind of seems like by 2021 no one really wanted anything to do with cow print anymore. My sister and I even went as far as to do our own fussy bags. We started selling them around our town. I still have some fussy bags actually. Wait, I have one in here. This is so 2020. Whenever I'm traveling, this is where my shoes go. It even has a little bottom. So cute. But yeah, cow print fuzzy bags, peak 2020. Something else that was very popular at the time was this specific shade of green. I think it's called pistachio green. There's people who say colors don't trend, but when you look at this color, don't you go back to 2020? Also combining this color with cow print or with zebra print because it was kind of trending as well at the time. Not as much as cow print, but it was still trending. Combining these two patterns, you were the ultimate fashion icon. During 2019, scrunchies were such a big thing because Emma Chamberlain was wearing scrunchies. And here's the thing, when someone is as influential model as she was. You can not love Emma, but it didn't really matter if you were watching her or not. You were still gonna be influenced by her, even if it was not in a direct type of way. But by 2020, I think most people moved on to claw clips and headbands. The next thing that was trending during 2020 was checkered print. People were mixing this with cow print and all of the other prints that we all of a sudden decided were so cute during this time. I don't own anything checker print. I saw it at the time and I also thought to myself that it was such a short-lived trend, and it was a short-lived trend. Cowboy boots, I have no idea why this started trending. Most of the time I can date there on trends to why they became so big. Cowboy boots, I actually don't know, but I love them. I bought them a couple years ago and I still wear them, and they became part of my wardrobe. Something else that was super popular during 2020, Euphoria type of makeup. Euphoria premiered in 2019. Everyone wanted to dress like Maddie. People were also wearing pastel color cardigans, also combining that with fussy tote bags. Mesh pattern shirts were also super popular. I actually don't like this. Patchwork, that was also so big during this time. Jeans, tops. At the time, I also knew that this was not gonna have any sort of longevity, so I didn't buy anything patchwork. Crazy fun jewelry in a 2000s type of way. I used to wear this sort of jewelry when I was younger. I used to make it myself. Also, this specific hair, I have no idea what style this hair is, but this is so 2020. I can't really look at it as anything else. I think about Dua Lipa. I remember when these pictures of Zoe Dutch came out. I think the movie was called Not Okay, and it was based on 2020, and she was wearing this type of hair and just like the most 2020 type of outfit, and I remember everyone was making fun of her, and it had just been 1 year since 2020. That's when everyone kind of started thinking like, oh, this is how we looked. That was such a big cultural moment because I think trends changed so much from that point on. I think that was summer 2021. By 2022, none of these things were trending anymore. Everyone kind of saw it from a different point of view, and they didn't like it. We need to cut ourselves some slack. I think trends weren't that bad. They were keeping us sane, I guess. We're gonna go to 2021 now. It was heavily influenced by the 2020s, so I don't have as many trends. The first thing that I wanted to talk about in 2021, this specific realization par Elton John shirt. Every influencer had this top. That was such a big thing during 2021. When I look at that shirt, it takes me right back to that year. Something else that started gaining a little bit of popularity was the clean girl aesthetic. Hailey Bieber, I think this was the year when she dyed her hair. The rising popularity of the clean girl aesthetic was setting her up to being a bigger influence when it comes to media later on during 2023 and 2024. You can love her, you can hate her. I know people feel all sorts of ways about her, but she has had a big impact when it comes to fashion trends and just, I guess, influencing the world. Something else that started this year, skinny scarf. Well, this is a skinny scarf, but it's also kind of a boa. I remember Harry wore that to, I think it was the Grammys. After that, everyone was like, oh my god, skinny scarves are back, and everyone started wearing them as well. Color blocking. People loved wearing colors that didn't really match. Very bright colors. It was still COVID time, so we were still wearing that sort of clothes. Fun Dutch. Wait, I have my cap in here. Another trend that I fell for. Okay, I have my Fun Dutch cap that I don't really wear anymore, but I'm never getting rid of it because I feel like it's such a, I'm gonna sound so stupid, but like a collector's item. Maybe one of my nieces, or if I ever have a child, will want to have it. I wore it during summer 2021 and I love it, and I love pink. I know that you're all probably cringing at the fashion trends that we have, but I have to say I'm watching back with nostalgia and sort of an awe kind of feeling. I don't know, it's so cute to see what I was wearing when I was younger. But this is an example just so you guys see how fleeting fashion trends actually are and why it's so important to shop carefully, which is something that I talk a lot about in my videos because I've gone through all of this. I just know which trends I'm not gonna like in 2 years, which is why I don't buy them. Let's go to 2022 because I think this is when things started to take a turn. By 2022, we started drifting away from so many colors and pastels. I think by this time, COVID was just not as big anymore. It was still around. It was still around. I actually got COVID this year for the first time, so it's still here. But I think we had a vaccine at this point. It was just not as big of a threat as it was during the past years. So fashion started to change as well. Fashion and what's going on in the world, culture, economics, it's all related. You can wear whatever you like, but you can't deny the fact that some things are more popular during certain periods of time. During 2022, sports shirts started to be kind of popular. I actually love that trend. Blockhead started to gain a little bit of traction, and also it was the World Cup. Cargos were also popular. I bought some white ones and some green ones. Don't think anyone is wearing cargos anymore. I still have mine. They're so comfy, and also if you live in very hot weather, cargos are always gonna be a good idea, so I'm not getting rid of them. Also corsets, specifically the ones from Urban. People were wearing them out and about. I have one that I've never worn outside. They're actually kind of cute. I know people hate corsets so much. I wouldn't wear them out and about during the day, but if I was going out, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I think it's cute if you know how to style them, of course. Also, something that I didn't mention that became popular in 2021 was wearing baby doll Victoria's Secret slip-on dresses out and about. I have like 3 of those. I was also on that trend. Love them. I still love that, actually. This is also when Samba started being kind of everywhere. Also, Adidas Gazelles. This definitely became popular because of Harry Styles. He had a brand deal, I think, with Adidas. At the time, I remember some people were making fun of them. Like, why is he wearing those shoes? They look so funny. And now in 2024, everyone is wearing those shoes. It just goes to show how pop culture and fashion are related, which is so interesting. Also, wearing boxer shorts as actual shorts, that also became a trend, and it's still going on. This was thanks to Bella Hadid, her infamous picture. I think she was eating a slice of pizza. I'm so hungry. I want to eat that right now. But she was wearing that with some ox slippers, which also became popular after that pic was taken. Burgundy started being a trend as well during late 2022. It took off until 2023. It's kind of still going on. People still love burgundy, but it started in 2022. So we definitely drifted away from the pastel colors and the very bright colors. After that, maxi skirts, midi skirts, denim skirts. I remember seeing everyone wearing that. Also, moto riding jackets became popular as well. It was such a short-lived trend because I don't think people are wearing them anymore, but it was also a thing. We also started seeing bits of leopard print and boho rock, which later took over in 2024, but that started in 2022. By 2023, we had no remnants of what trends were at the beginning of the decade. We kicked off the year with the flower around the neck trend. I first saw it on Kendall Jenner. This flower is actually an anthurium. I like it so much more than the bow trend that took over in 2024. Something else that started trending this year, ballet flats. This has been the year of the ballet flats, 2023 and 2024. Also, Rhode took over. This was the year of Hailey Bieber. It had a lot of influence on everything. Also, when it comes to ballet flats, I know Rhode had a lip tint that was ballet theme, so I do think those two things kind of pushed that trend even further. Also, this specific vest, I feel very conflicted about them. I didn't like them at all at first, but then I styled mine with a low waist leather skirt and I loved it. So I don't know. Leather moto boots, also super trendy. I think 2023 is when mesh took over. I don't love this trend. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Just wearing everything mesh, transparent clothing. So 2023. Mermaid ruffles, also super popular this year. I wanted to buy a mermaid ruffle top and I didn't buy it, and I did regret it because I think I would have worn it this year as well. Mary Janes, I started seeing them in 2022, but 2023 is when most people wore them. It was also Sofia Richie's year. She had a lot of influence when it comes to fashion trends as well. The old money aesthetic that people haven't stopped talking about. There's a lot of cultural talk about the old money aesthetic gaining more popularity eventually, especially with how minimalism and kind of conservative movement is kind of taking over a little bit. I do wonder what's gonna happen with that. Such a funny name for an aesthetic. I made fun of it last year and I think I'm gonna make fun of it again. Why are we calling it all money aesthetic? We are not all money. All money, in my opinion, is not about logos. It's about quiet luxury, and because it's quiet luxury, we don't even know about it. So I don't know, that's just my take on all money aesthetic. I think it's such a funny name. Just call it something else. I don't know. Also, skirts over pants. I hate this trend. I've always talked about how much I hate it. I just think it's so unconventional. It's maximalism, final boss. That was 2023. Let's go to 2024. I definitely have less things to say about this year. We all know 2024 trends because we're still living in this year, but I'm still gonna add 2024 to this video because if someone is watching in 2025 or 2026, they will want to know what trends were in 2024 because it's probably gonna be long forgotten by then. So let's talk about 2024. I feel like this year I'm hyper aware of the trends just because I've been on YouTube this whole year. Something that was super popular this year was definitely leopard print. I talked about how this started in late 2022, but sometimes it takes time for people to hop on trends. Leopard print was everywhere. This top was everywhere. I'm actually sick of this stuff. Also, I saw a lot of leopard print in shoes. Chimaguas, their studded bags were everywhere. It's a brand that a lot of influencers have. Mob wife coats, the mob wife aesthetic, kind of this fussy, almost like bear kind of coat. Also super popular at the beginning of the year. I think people are still wearing them now. I don't know if this is really a trend. I think people are still gonna be wearing them, especially people who live in very cold places, but this was also kind of something that was going on. The next thing that was trending, barrel jeans. I've mentioned I'm not into them. I don't like them. This year was, I'm gonna call it the baggy year, because everything was so baggy. Jeans were so baggy, jorts were so baggy. Obviously everything being so baggy, I think next year we're gonna see a complete juxtaposition of what we saw this year, and instead of seeing super baggy things, we're gonna start seeing slimmer shapes. Low-rise bootcut jeans, they also started trending this year. I've been seeing them a lot, but I haven't seen them be as big as I think they're gonna be. The next thing that was popular this year in this list, I think this was the first year that I started seeing some sort of nostalgia for the 2010s, and I think it's so crazy because I grew up during the 2010s and I remember seeing some sort of nostalgia for the 2000s, but I couldn't really relate to it because I was a child and I didn't even remember. But seeing nostalgia for the 2010s, a time where I was obviously alive but aware that I was alive, it's just crazy to me, and that definitely happened this year. So 2014, there was a lot of nostalgia for that year, so in this list kind of took over. We saw a lot of studs. We had Brad Summer, a lot of Kate Moss, Glastonbury kind of vibe, Alexa Chung. I do think that's not gonna stop this year. I do know Kate Moss just launched a collection with Zara, so this is just brewing or skyrocketing for 2025 to be a boho chic kind of year. But we're not talking about that. Something else that was everywhere in 2024 is the Rode phone case. You can't escape this right now. Every influencer has our own phone case at the moment. We have a lot of different colors. Both seemed to take over 2024. Also not a trend that I love, but I'm not gonna say anything. A ton of bows on everything. Jeans, hair, shoes, bags, you name it, there were bows. This bow shirt also everywhere. This shirt is so 2024. You know how we were talking about patchwork and checkered, anything that has to do with 2020? This bow shirt is gonna be so 2024. In 2 years, you're gonna look back at it the same way that you look back at patchwork and that sort of thing. It's so funny and so interesting. I didn't buy any. I think they're cute, but I know they're so 2024. So Caprice, I started seeing this in 2023, but they took over in 2024. Caprice paired up with every single thing. That was kind of 2024's theme. My bag hurts. I always put this in the bag as kind of a prop, but you can never see it, so we're gonna change it. Something else that was trending this year, accessorizing your bags. I love this trend so much. Also frosted makeup. Kind of seems like 2024 was influenced by 2014, but it was also influenced by 2004, obviously because of the 20-year trend cycle. In 2004, people used to wear this kind of frosted makeup, blue eyeshadow. I saw a lot of celebrities wearing this, a lot of influencers as well. And actually in my 2024 spring trends video or my 2024 wishlist video, I don't remember which one it was, but I talked about how I thought Hailey Bieber was going to come out with a frosted lip tint. It was kind of a prediction. I thought if she did that, it was gonna be a very smart move from her. I would come out with a glossy grayish lip tint, and I will call it Icy Princess Frosted Lip Tint. If this makeup keeps trending, I would definitely come out with that if I was Hailey. And I still stand by what I said in my last video. Hailey has to come out with a lip tint that is similar to this makeup look, like a frosted lip tint. And literally 2 days before I filmed this video, she announced a collection. It's this frosted peppermint lip tint, and oh my god, I was like, I actually predicted something that happened. I've been doing this for a year, so I just felt so happy because one of my predictions came true. But frosted makeup everywhere in 2024, I think it's so cute. I feel like it's probably gonna not be as popular in a couple of years, but I love it. I don't know, tongue picking, that's also been popular as of late. So interesting. That is Y2K, the tongue picking from your jeans. The western vibe, well, I guess the western vibe, cowboy hats, that has been super popular during the early 20s, but the whole western vibe became popular this year. I think it had something to do with Bella Hadid dating a cowboy and all of her outfits, but I think fringe is still gonna be here in 2025. It goes hand in hand with this boho chic aesthetic, so that's not going away. Longer tops also became popular this year. Gingham, it also had a moment. Polka dots, hibiscus flowers were also super popular. So yeah, I think those were all the trends of 2024 24. Definitely let me know if you remember more. But that's it for this video. It was probably a longer video than what I usually do, but I really wanted to have every single trend from the early 20s in a single video just for myself. The years are blending in. I think 2022 was the year that had my favorite trend, but I also feel like 2020 was so wholesome. I don't know. Definitely let me know what your favorite year from the early 20s was. If you want to know where I think fashion is going in 2025, definitely go watch this video that I posted around a month ago. Hopefully you like it. And yeah, I also wanted to say you can still wear whatever you want, but trends are not really going anywhere because they are a way to define where we are at as humanity, as human beings. We just have to be very smart about which trends we're buying, which is what I talk about in my channel. But anyways, love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.
Bet they give me a pound. Tell them put the money in my hand right now.